Since the launch of competitive Pokemon's Regulation G rule set, we've seen many different restricted legendaries with a wide variety of strategies and partners. But with so many viable options, it can be hard to tell which restricted is truly the best. In this video, I'm going to take you through the top 9 restricted legendaries based on their performance at major events. For those that don't know, a restricted legendary is one of a select group of powerful legendary Pokemon that are best known for being on the box art for the Pokemon games themselves. In the Regulation G rule set, a player is allowed to bring only one of these overpowered Pokemon, so players will often construct their team around getting the most value possible out of their restricted. To help you decide which restricted is the best, I've tallied up the top 8 highest placing teams from every major tournament since Reg G began, except for the World Championships, where I tallied the top 16 teams. This list came out to 80 total teams, with 9 different restricteds making an appearance, which is why this isn't a top 10 list. Right now, I'd like you to go down to the comments and tell me which restricteds you think will make the podium. Without further ado, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 9 with only one top finish is Zacian. Anyone who hasn't kept up with competitive Pokemon since the beginning of Scarlet and Violet might be shocked by this placement, but Zacian was severely nerfed between generations. It lost 20 attack points, had its Intrepid Sword ability reworked to activate only once per battle, and lost the added benefit to its signature move, Behemoth Blade, which would do double damage to Dynamaxed opponents. Zacian's strongest soldier was Kian Campbell, who made use of Zacian's strong offense paired with Genpow's damage support to pick up 3rd place at the 2024 Los Angeles Regional Championship. Sadly, this is the only example of Zacian placing high at a major event, with its highest placement at the World Championships at only 21st. Zacian has truly fallen off since the final season of Sword and Shield, where it was on over 58% of top 8 teams. Next up at number 8 is another legendary who seems to have passed its time in the sun, Groudon. With only 3 top finishes since Reg G began, Groudon can't seem to hold a candle to the level of dominance it held during the era of Mega Evolutions in VGC. Groudon is held back by its signature spread move, Precipice Blades, which only has an 85% chance of hitting each target. Even with past Paradox Pokemon receiving a buff from its Sun-Setting Drought ability, Groudon still struggles to deliver on its legendary status. With all 3 top placements occurring within the 2025 season, Groudon has recovered a lot of ground since the World Championships, where its best finish was all the way down in 43rd place. At number 7 on this list is another Sunsetter with a much shorter history than Groudon, the past Paradox Pokemon Koraidon. Regulation G is the first rule set to allow Koraidon, which has only achieved 5 top finishes so far. Despite their shared sun, Groudon and Koraidon play very differently. For one, Koraidon is part of the 135 base speed club, which allows it to outspeed most of the metagame. Koraidon also has an ability that buffs its attack while in the sun. When it maintains weather control, Koraidon is capable of outputting massive damage at a speed most Pokemon can only dream of. The main piece of Koraidon's kit that holds it back is its typing, Dragon and Fighting, which gives it a 4 times weakness to Fairy, and often requires the use of Terra to get around any Fairy-type attacks. Koraidon's best finish at the World Championships was only 25th place, but recent Sun Team developments may allow Koraidon to shine brighter in upcoming tournaments. Number 6 on this list is held by both Groudon and Koraidon's greatest opposition, the rain-setting Pokemon Kyogre. In Reg G, Kyogre has managed 6 top finishes, and is the first restricted on this list to make top 16 at Worlds, with its best finish at 14th place. Similarly to Groudon, Kyogre has a long history of dominating restricted formats thanks to its ability granting it a damage boost and giving fire-weak partners a defense buff. Despite its solid bulk and powerful offense, Kyogre's signature move, Origin Pulse, often holds it back due to its low accuracy. Some players manage to get around this using Water Spout, a similar water-type spread move that is 100% accurate but drops in power with Kyogre's HP. As Sun teams rise in popularity, Kyogre may experience a similar bump to counteract them and may yet be able to pull out a tournament win. Beginning at number 5, there's a significant bump in top finishes among these restricteds, and all but one of them have won at least one major tournament. Because of this, players often consider these top 5 legendaries as the big 5 matchups to beat. In 5th place on this list is a Pokemon that plays a bit differently than most other restricteds, Zamazenta. While it had pitiful usage stats during Sword and Shield, Zamazenta has managed to pick up 9 top placements during Regulation G. Zamazenta got similar debuffs to Zacian between generations, losing 5 points in both its defenses and 10 in its attack, as well as its ability only activating once per battle. However, alongside its debuffs, Zamazenta got access to an amazing new move in Body Press, which uses the user's defense stat to deal damage and allows Zamazenta to make excellent use of its stats and ability. To push its damage even further beyond, players often partner Zamazenta with Chen Pao, a legendary whose ability decreases the defense stats of all other Pokemon on the field, but for some reason doesn't decrease the amount of damage done by Body Press. Another extremely useful tool that Zamazenta gets access to is Wide Guard, a move that protects the user and its partner from spread attacks, which includes most moves that restricteds use for big damage. Zamazenta made it all the way to 3rd place at Worlds, cementing its status as the top dog restricted. Next up at number 4 on this list is Calyrex Shadow Rider, a blindingly fast and powerful legendary with a devastating signature move called Astral Barrage, a 120 base power spread move with no chance to miss. CSR has managed 10 top placements during Reg G, and a world's best placement of 10th place. As the fastest restricted legendary with an absurd 150 base speed, Calyrex Shadow Rider operates under the simple principle of hit fast and hit hard. Because of its partial ghost typing, CSR is inherently immune to the most common way of stopping fast Pokemon, which is Fake Out. Most of its success has involved one of 2 archetypes: the classic Fire Water Grass support damage provided by Incineroar, Urshifu Rapid Strike, and Rillaboom, or a much more divisive team centered around using Neutralizing Gas Wheezing to shut down opposing abilities, and the dynamic duo of Dondozo and Tatsugiri to create a 2-part boss battle for the unlucky opponents. Due to its fast and consistent damage, it's likely that Calyrex Shadow Rider will continue to make top placements at future tournaments, and any player worth their horse salt will be prepping for the CSR matchup. Based purely on coverage for major events, you might not expect this next restricted to have placed only 3rd on this list. Miraidon floats tall at number 3 on this list with a total of 11 top placements, and landed 1st place at the World Championships. Miraidon possesses a perfect storm of damage, with an ability that sets Electric Terrain and boosts special attack, combined with the Stab Electric boost, and choice specs often allow Miraidon to one-shot bulky Pokemon like Incineroar and switch out in the same turn with Volt Switch. Miraidon is often run alongside Farigiraf and Whimsicott to allow for speed control and anti-fake-out support, and can also work well with the many future Paradox Pokemon who get a stat boost from Electric Terrain. Miraidon offers what players really want out of their restricteds: lots of damage. Because of this, Miraidon will likely not be leaving the Reg G meta anytime soon. Coming in at number 2 on this list is one of the bulkiest Pokemon around, Terapagos. Terapagos has managed 12 top placements since the beginning of Regulation G, and had its best finish at 8th place at the World Championships. Base form Terapagos has a middling stat total of 600, but an incredible ability in Terra Shell, which can often allow it to set up a Calm Mind boost for free. Its signature move, Terra Star Storm, is a single target normal attack that boasts a whopping 120 base power, and has the special condition of becoming a stellar type spread attack when Terapagos terastallizes. Along with hitting all terastallized Pokemon for super effective damage, Stellar Terra Star Storm cannot be resisted by any type, allowing Terapagos to hit ghost types. When terastallized into its stellar form, Terapagos gains 100 stat points, bringing its HP to an absurd base 160 and its special attack to a respectable base 130. Terapagos appreciates nearly all forms of support, and its versatile speed stat of base 85 allows it to be run in Tailwind, Trick Room, or both. Despite all it has going for it, Terapagos has yet to take home the gold at any major event. Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, unless you skipped ahead. The restricted with the most top finishes in Regulation G is Calyrex Ice Rider. With a massive jump up to 23 top placements and a best finish of 2nd place at the World Championships, this is clearly the horse to back. Calyrex Ice Rider possesses many of the positive traits that make other legendaries on this list so devastating. It has a 120 base power signature spread move, Glacial Lance, which never misses. It has excellent stats with 165 base attack, 150 base defense, and 130 base special defense. Its only lacking stat is speed, which is base 50, but Calyrex easily makes up for this deficit by having access to Trick Room. Its ability, similar to Cali's Shadow, is a combination of Unnerve and Chilling Neigh, which prevents opponents from using berries and gives Ice Rider an attack boost for every KO it takes. With good positioning and a teammate with Tailwind, Calyrex Ice Rider is guaranteed to get plenty of chances to fire off its devastating attacks. So that's it, all 9 restricted legendaries that have managed a top placement in competitive Pokemon's Reg G. Did any of this list surprise you? Do you think any of these legendaries are undervalued in the metagame? Please like and comment down below and subscribe so I have a reason to make more VGC content in the future. Thanks for watching, y'all. See ya!